Hi IT lovers of my classes, welcome to Easy Machine Learning number 1 with Python on Google Colab. As usual, I invite you to also watch my previous Python and machine learning tutorials. Last month, we started the machine learning with an introduction and an easy store sales project. Last week, we went back to the old-fashioned machine learning practice using an HTML file with integrated CSS and JavaScript to predict the changing color of a car. Today, we move on with the modern way of machine learning. We are going to practice on a well-known dataset called the iris flower. We want to build a machine learning model that can predict the species of an iris flower based on its measurements. We will train the model using the key nearest neighbors KNN algorithm and evaluate its performance. It's going to happen in 2 parts. So we start and we'll stop by the half of the project so that we can finish next week, God's willing. Again, I'm about to tell you the same thing in German and French. Hallo IT-Leute, willkommen zum einfachen Machine Learning Nummer 1.4 mit Python auf Google Colab. Letzten Monat haben wir Machine Learning mit einer Einführung und einem einfachen Store Sales Projekt angefangen. Letzte Woche sind wir zur altmodischen Machine Learning Praxis zurückgekehrt und haben eine HTML-Datei mit integriertem CSS und JavaScript verwendet, um die Änderung Farbe eines Autos vorherzusagen. Heute fahren wir fort mit der modernen Art des Machine Learning. Wir werden an einem bekannten Datensatz namens The Iris Flower üben. Wir wollen ein Machine Learning Modell entwickeln, das die Art einer Irisblüte anhand ihrer Messungen vorhersagen kann. Wir werden das Modell mit dem Nearest Neighbors Algorithm trainieren und seine Leistung évaluieren. Alors un grand coucou à tous ceux qui apprécient mes cours de IT en ligne. Bienvenue sur Easy Machine Learning numéro 1.4 avec Python sur Google Colab. Bien sûr, je vous invite encore à regarder également mes tutoriels de Python et Machine Learning précédents. Le mois dernier, nous avons démarré avec une introduction et un projet de vente en magasin facile. La semaine dernière, nous sommes revenus à la pratique de Machine Learning à l'ancienne, en utilisant un fichier HTML avec CSS et JavaScript intégrés pour prédire le changement de couleur d'une voiture. Aujourd'hui, nous revenons à la méthode moderne de Machine Learning. Nous allons nous entraîner sur un ensemble de données bien connues appelées la fleur d'iris. Nous voulons construire un modèle Machine Learning capable de prédire l'espèce d'une fleur d'iris en fonction de ses mesures. Nous allons entraîner le modèle à l'aide de l'algorithme qu'on appelle Nearest Neighbors ou KNN et évaluer ses performances. Cela va se faire en 2 parties par contre. Nous commençons et nous arrêterons à la moitié du projet pour terminer la semaine prochaine, si Dieu le veut. Encore une fois, je vous ai dit la même chose en anglais et en allemand. All right, let's start. First, I think I'm going to show you the iris flower for those who don't know how it looks like. Let me comment that. Show the iris flower. And after that, we want to import the necessary libraries. Like that. Okay, let me go ahead and show you our beautiful iris flower first. Yes, this is the iris flower. It's beautiful, like dark blue. I think it's a beautiful flower. The iris flower have 3 different species or types. which are the setosa, the versicolor, as you can see, and the virginica. These are the three classes that we are trying to predict in our machine learning model. The measurements refer to various characteristics or features of the iris flowers that are used to distinguish between the different species. In the iris dataset, these measurements include the sepal length. As you can see, I hope you can see here on the first flower, the iris versicolor, you can see the petal and the sepal. So the sepal length in centimeters, the sepal width in centimeters, the petal length in centimeters, and the petal width in centimeters. The goal of our machine learning model will be to learn from these measurements and predict the correct species of iris flower based on these characteristics. Now that we all know more about the iris flower, let's do that. So we want to import the NumPy as NP. Import NumPy as NP. And then we are going to import also pandas. Import pandas as PD. Yes, we need a couple of libraries right here. We are going to import also the one called plot lib.pyplot as plt, and we're gonna get our sklearn datasets because they have not only the iris flower, and we want to import the iris, so we have to import load iris. Okay, and we need something else, the sklearn model dot model it's going to be selection. Here in the suggestion, this is what we're going to choose. Import train test and split. And of course the sklearn neighbors. Yes, we want to import this algorithm. Import k neighbors. This is how we have to type it. K neighbors. We want the classifier, so we can choose right here. And then our last here is going to be the sklearn dot matrix. Import accuracy. We want the score and the classification report. And then here we're going to add another comment because the comments are important. Okay, now we want to load the data set. And it is called iris equal load iris. Load iris equal load iris. and it's a method. Then we move on, and here we want a x equal iris.data, and then our y equal iris.target. And then let's insert another comment here. We're going to do the split the data set into training and testing sets, just like this. And this is the part which is, you know, always the same, but you gotta do it right. Not always the same, but it's the same pattern. This is what I mean by that. X test, Y train, initialize, and train. This time it's a KNN classifier. So here is going to be, of course, KNN equal K neighbors classifier. We can choose right here again. And here we want the N neighbor. Sometimes it's N estimator. This time it's N neighbor. Oh yes, I have to make it lowercase. So neighbors, we're gonna get it to 3 equal 3, and then we can move on with KNN dot fit. I remember explaining this one to you too, what it means to fit. So X here train, Y X train, and Y train, just like that. Okay, this is where we're going to stop. This is let's say about the half of the project. I'm just going to let you take a look at it. So far, we don't have to run, because if you run right now, nothing's going to happen. But this is what we did. First, we could see the iris flower, and I could explain to you about the measurements. And then we imported the necessary libraries. We loaded the data set. You are not going to see it with your eyes, you know, how the data set looks like. But if you want, there is a command you can do to see it with your eyes. But basically, we don't have to see it. We just work on it. Okay, we load the data set. It's loaded thanks to Panda and the sklearn and all this stuff. And then we split the data set into training and testing sets. It's always the same pattern. And for the test size and the random state, I remember explaining that to you before. And then initialize and train the KNN classifier, our algorithm. So I'm going to stop right here. Next time, we're going to first add a comment called you know, make predictions on the testing set, you know, and then we're going to move on and run the whole project. I would say if you want a woman to learn the machine learning, you shall definitely, you know, practice the iris flower with her. I mean, it worked for me, you know. I was like, what is that machine learning? But when you do the iris flower project, you understand, you kind of understand what they're talking about. All right, thank you for watching. The rest is coming next, if God's willing. Until then, may He bless you. Bye bye.